Hi there, it's John at Packback, and I'm here to give you a quick tutorial on the tools and features available to you through Packback for this upcoming semester. Once you follow the link in your learning management system, or in an email that you were sent, or the link that was provided to you by your professor, you'll arrive here at your course's homepage. You'll notice right off the bat, you have a few options available to you. You can look at your profile, you can view any work you've already completed, the grades for that work, and then any of the tools that are available to you that you'll need in order to succeed this semester. Depending on your screen size, you may arrive at your homepage looking like this. If you want to see that left navigation, simply click on those three lines to have access over here. But you'll notice that all of the tools you can access over here are also accessible right here on this homepage. You'll have discussion assignments, writing assignments, and polls, as well as support pop-outs for each of those tools. And if you'd like to retake the tutorial that you took when you registered, you can do that here. You'll also notice that on your homepage is any open assignments that you still have to complete in order to meet the requirements for the week. I have a discussion assignment, I have a writing assignment, and I have a poll assignment. I can access them all from right here. I can see if I've started them or not, and I can also see if there's an itemization of what's due. I can take a look and see I have one question due by Friday that requires 75 curiosity score points, and two responses due by Sunday that requires 50 curiosity points in my responses to my peers. If I want to start that, I simply click on the assignment, and I will come into the assignment feed. Any questions already asked by my peers or my professor will appear in this feed. But if I'm coming to do my assignment, I simply click Ask a New Question. This will open the ability to answer a question or ask a question of your peers and explain it. Now, I've cheated and I've already populated a question in another sheet. And so I come in, I ask my question, how does acknowledging and coaching up team members' mindset increase morale and productivity? I then give a description of my question. Maybe I'm explaining a position that I hold and inviting you to respond to me. Maybe I'm providing an example where I think that something may have gone wrong or particularly right, and giving that example and inviting you to share another example yourself. But you'll notice that all of this feedback pops out to me. Now, again, depending on your screen size, if you arrive and you go, I don't know what any of this is, you can always pop it out so that you can see the feedback. Again, we encourage you to write directly into the platform so you get the feedback on an instant and line-by-line basis. It will give you a range of curiosity score of your post so far that will relate back to the 75 points you need for a question or the 50 points we need for our responses in this particular course. Again, it will be different for you depending on your professor's guidelines. I can pop out what a curiosity score is and means, but really this feedback will guide you in increasing your curiosity score. So maybe it has to do with, I need a little bit more detailed description. Maybe it's that, I needed a source to cite as I was going through. Maybe it has to do with how I'm communicating. Maybe it has to do with the conventions. That's grammar, sentence structure, all of those. Well, let's say I do want to review my grammatical errors. I want to be clear here. Let me ask the AI to look for some possible places where I can improve my grammar and structure. I can scan through. I can see my feedback here. I can automatically change it. That's a spelling mistake. Sure, I can change it. Maybe I want to dismiss it. Maybe it's a brand that's a new brand that's not in the dictionary yet, and I just need to dismiss that it was misspelled because it's a brand name. I can dismiss it right there like I would in Microsoft Word, and then move on to the next grammar fault. Now, if I don't understand the feedback, I can ask our chatbot to explain this to me. Now, this is not terribly exciting feedback because it's just a misspelling, but again, the chatbot will give you the feedback and explain the feedback just to make sure you understand. Please rate the feedback helpful or not helpful, as that helps our AI improve. Now, let's say I'm pretty good with what I've got written so far, but I know that I need to go further because I'm not going to hit that minimum curiosity score. I asked the chatbot to help me dive a little deeper, I can speak today. So it will talk to me. It'll say, it's great to see you reflecting on the impact of mindset in a managerial context. Whoa, yes, it actually took what I wrote and it recognized that this is what I'm trying to say. It'll tell me what I did well so far, and then give me a few guiding questions or suggestions for diving deeper in my post. It'll give me a reminder that I can ask more questions. So let's say all of that's great, but I need examples. Well, our chatbot will not give you examples. It will give you an idea to reflect. Well, have you had your own experiences with this? Are there case studies from elsewhere that discuss how mindset has affected team performance? Remembering that real-world examples can bring your analysis to life. Again, these are all the types of things that a writing coach would do for you. Now, I've already added a source here. This is my lecture from 9-4. I'm just trying to cite what the professor said. But let's say I do have a source that I'd actually like to see how credible it is. If I have a book, I can type in the ISBN. This is information that's available to you on Google or Google Books. An academic journal. This is a DOI, what's called a DOI. Again, this is all very findable in Google Scholar. Maybe it's just a website. Maybe it's a popular press website that you want to cite. That's just a URL that you grab from the top of the page. Let's say I do have an academic journal article though, and I've got a DOI number. I search for that. Hey, that is the article, in fact, that I found. I'll add it by pressing save and close, and it'll give me a review on the credibility of this source. It'll say, in fact, it's a peer-reviewed academic journal. It's a highly reputable journal, and it's been cited by at least 35 other researchers, which lets me know that, hey, I'm probably barking up the right tree if it's something that is relevant to the question that I'm asking. Once I have all of this there, I click Submit Post, and now you'll see something very interesting. You remember that I had a minimum of 75 curiosity points that I had to hit. Well, I didn't hit that. I'll get a pop-up box to say, would you like to revise your post to get full credit? Yeah, I actually quite like getting full credit on all of my assignments. So I just click on Revise Post, and it brings me right back into the discussion. Make sure you're utilizing that as you are utilizing this tool. Now, let's move back to the home page. Currently, because I didn't revise, I only have half credit for that question, but I have at least started and asked my question that's due by Friday. Now, I want to address this unanswered poll because I think this is probably the next easiest thing for me to address this week. I click into poll assignments, and I have a question from my professor that says, week 2 concepts to revisit. Which of our main points from the content this week do you still have questions about? Well, I asked my question about mindset, so I suppose I'll answer mindset. I submit my post, couldn't be any easier, and now I can see the distribution of all of my classmates. Now, I'm the only one that's answered so far, so 100% of the students have answered mindset, but feel free to revisit this later in the week to see how your classmates answered and get a good sense for who you might be able to connect with and how many other folks might be experiencing the same questions you are. Last but not least, let's go to writing assignments because they're a little bit more in depth. I head into my assignment. You'll notice that I see the prompt, any links that my professor has attempted to give me in order to help me do my work, any guiding questions that I have that I should be answering in this deep dive, any other resources that have been provided for me. You'll see I've got a research and citation for Purdue OWL over here. I can also see the rubric for this assignment, fully popped out, fully itemized for me. And I can see any submissions that I've already made. I haven't even started the deep dive yet, so why don't we start there? Now, again, I've cheated just a little bit and I've pre-written something. Here's an essay that I've been writing in order to do this. Again, we don't recommend you do this because we want you to get the feedback as you type, but I did want to show you what the feedback looks like once everything's in. You'll notice it auto saves again, just like Google Docs for you, so you don't have to worry about copying and pasting, moving things from this place to that place to make sure there's backups. We have all of these backups. You'll be okay. If you do feel like you desperately want a backup, I understand. I was that student as well. I would type it in here, make sure it's saved, and then copy from here and paste it in a Word document or a Google Doc separately. Again, I understand. I am also that student when I take courses. I want to have multiple copies just in case. Now, I have some tools that have popped up very similarly to questions. I'll see the basics if I don't have a large enough screen, but I can pop out the itemized feedback. From here, I can still see the prompt. I can go back to the prompt that my professor laid out. I can see that rubric again pointed out to me, how many points for each section. And if I really want to take a look, I can see where is it possible that I may have plagiarized. I may have accidentally forgotten to add a source. I may have forgotten a parenthetical citation. I may have forgotten to write a citation about where I use generative AI and how I did that. That's something that you can do now, where you can cite your use of generative AI in places where you've used it. Again, this should all be your own writing, but if there are places where you got help phrasing your argument, you can cite there too. Similar to questions, I've got word count, word choice and depth, flow and structure, formatting and presentation, grammar and mechanics, and research quality. Also, as I'm moving through, I have guiding questions from my professor. If I click on guiding questions, I can see these are all of the things that my professor laid out in order for me to accomplish the task. Well, let's click on one of them and see what happens. Our AI will actually take a look for where in the paper you may have answered this question based on keywords, not only from the question, but also from your own writing. You can jump through the highlights. It provides a strong memory of a learning experience that positively affected the trajectory as a learner. Again, we can get the chatbot to explain some things. The chatbot has a few more options available now. We can get started, we can build an outline, we can get help diving deeper, just like we did in questions. Please explore these as you go. Your sources, similar to questions, when you add a source, it will be the same process as it was with questions. And history, if you have previous versions of this, you can find where you went back. Let's say you did a peer review session and they liked your earlier version better than some of the changes you've made since. You can go back and view what you did before and any research notes that you took while you were drafting that. Once you're done with your essay and you notice that you can actually download a copy of your essay as well, it will format it in the format that your professor has laid out for you. It's always a good idea to check on that formatting just because you also have to use these tools up here in order to get the full benefit of the formatting. So just make sure that you've done that. Once you have, you can submit your essay. Right now, I can see I haven't met the minimum requirements. It says we'll auto-save your draft for you. So if you want to keep editing, you can leave and come back later. Keep that in mind. You can always keep editing later as long as you see that your essay has been saved. It'll take a second and you'll get the green check mark. And then once you do that, you can go back to your home page. I'm going to exit the assignment because we know it's saved. And it will always have your submission here for you within the writing assignment so you can go back and continue to write. When you view it again, it'll say view draft, and that's how you go back in and continue making edits from your previous version. That's it for today. If you have any questions, make sure that you reach out to help@packback.co. That's .co, not .com. Have a wonderful semester. Enjoy the tools here, and good luck.